How would you like to bet right alongside your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for the next 40 days for under $5 per day? Well, we have you covered. A 30-day all-access pass is priced at $2.99, but for a limited time, not only are we discounting the price by $100, but adding on 10 more days of picks for free. So outside of the $100 discount, we are tossing in a free 3-day all-access, a $39 value, and a free 7-day all-access, a $99 value for a combined savings of $238. So to recap, for the next 40 days, you will get all plays across all sports from your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper played during your access, including 5% best bets for under $5 per day. Have an existing all-access pass? No worries, as your 40 days will not begin until your current package expires.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. He's Teddy Covers. We've got Dave Cokin joining us. 3 baseball games, Teddy. Mariners, Padres, Tigers, Astros, Rays, and Marlins, I meant. Rays and Mariners. Marco D'Angelo talking the Kentucky Derby. And then Kevin Dolan coming on and looking at the Canelo fight. Your big game breakdown will not be on the NBA because for some reason there is no NBA tonight. Teddy Covers, I had a monster night last night. The good luck 5% pants ruled the day. Woohoo! Woohoo! 6-0 Edmonton. Won both my NHL plays. Feeling good. What did you learn last night in the wonderful world of sports?
Well, I'm glad you did well last night because I sure didn't. I had 2 sides, and they were both wrong side losers, one in the NBA, with the total in that Mavs-Suns game where Phoenix didn't miss a shot again. And, of course, yesterday I came on the show and did a big game breakdown talking about how I like the Royals against the Cardinals. And, look, of course, that game was 10-0 final. St. Louis, wrong side loser. Beating baseball and beating sports in general, but beating baseball in particular, is about getting ahead of the curve before the markets catch up. It's a proactive approach versus a reactive approach. Proactive, you're trying to get ahead of the curve. Reactive, you're reacting to what has already happened. And yesterday I talked about Bubik for Kansas City, how he might be bet on. And we saw something last time out. He got rocked his first 4 batters in the previous start against the Yankees. We did a 3-0 hole after 4 batters. Then he retired 14 the next 15. And his quote was, "It was really the first time this year that I found any rhythm." All right, so Bubik comes out yesterday, opens up the game with a walk, then another walk, then a home run, then a double. He got pulled in the top of the first. They were down 5-0 before the fans even sat down. And sometimes you're going to be wrong when you're trying to be proactive, Prez. It's still what you have to do to beat MLB. You look stupid when you do it, but nonetheless, that's the theory. Proactive, not reactive. Be ahead of the curve, not behind the curve. Sometimes going to result in wrong side losers, unfortunately. It happened yesterday for my clients. I'm here with Big Game Breakdown. We'll see if we can do a little better in that regards today. What'd you learn last night,
Teddy,
Prez, besides how to wear lucky pants?
Oh, I watched sports all night, brother. I mean, listen, the Leafs lost, just sucked tochas, but it was the right spot for them to lose. And, I mean, that shit affects me. We've already discussed that you're not a fan of anything. I mean, I bleed blue. So I was very, very frustrated. However, before the Leaf game started, so people can understand this, I put on my lucky 5% pants and I said to the man above, I will accept a Leaf loss if the Edmonton Oilers win. And that's what happened. So from my perspective, an awesome freaking night, regardless of the fact that the Leafs lost. So for anyone who missed it, the Edmonton Oilers were my 5% play last night, not the Toronto Maple Leafs. And for the record, I doubt there will be a 5% play on the Toronto Maple Leafs at any time because I don't want double the damn stress. That's for damn sure. It's
so.
Yep.
So God's on your side now.
Teddy, I mean, I would think God's always been on my side. Firstly, I was born in the Western world. Secondly, I was born to two parents who were affluent. Thirdly, I met you. I mean, there's never been a moment in my life when God hasn't been on my side. He just reminds me he's there when I get rivered at poker, when I have some bad luck. That's him just like pinching me, saying, it can't be every day, Prez. You have to have some bad luck. So, yeah.
You got your Leafs loss. You got your Edmonton win. You made the trade-off. The Lord is smiling on you today.
There you go. Amen, as John Clark says. Guys who are listening to the show, please make sure to comment. Comment after the show as well. It's really important for us at WagerTalk to be higher up in the YouTube rankings, and those comments really do help. So even if you go in there and just write, Prez is a douche, we're going to have 1,000 of those today, dude. Like, no joke. Prez is a douche times 1,000 today. But I'll take it. Because it's still a comment. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and if you have any questions, please ask us. And also ask us after the show, too. I will read all comments. Manuel Rodriguez with a $20 tip. Thank you, my brother. As everybody knows, we are donating all tips to charity. We have 3 charities of choice that we're splitting the money equally. The Wounded Warrior Project, Opportunity Village, and BBBS, which is Big Brother, Big Sister. And we're going to match up to $250. And actually next week, we're going to announce when we're going to do that donation, and we'll do it the same day every single month. Oh yeah. The first Prez is a douche. No MDR. Put it up in the comment section after the show. Teddy covers, Dave Cokin joining us. I love this man. Dave, how are you, my friend?
If there are 1,000 Prez is a douche responses, what's the over and under on misspelling of the word douche? I'm going to say 264.
Oh, no. 599 and a half.
You think?
You know what word? This is actually funny because my brother Darren and I were talking about this. You know what word? Do you have a word that you just struggle to spell no matter how many times you write it? For me, it's rhythm. Spell rhythm.
R-H-Y-T-H-M. I used to use that word when I played Hangman because it didn't have any vowels and would mess everybody up.
Yeah. Rhythm is the hardest freaking word to spell. Dave, let's get straight into it. Marlins playing the Padres, minus 106, a low total of 7. How do you suggest we bet this game?
Well, Nick Martinez would be a pitcher who probably could be described as having no R-H-Y-T-H-M rhythm. He's been back and forth. Luzardo's been much better. He's an interesting guy because Luzardo's got phenomenal stuff, and he always has. But I think he beats himself sometimes mentally, and then he loses his command. But he's been mostly good so far. Both teams coming off bad losses. The Padres managed to split their doubleheader, but it looked like they were going to sweep and blew the second game to the Guardians. The Marlins had an interesting day yesterday. Madison Bumgarner gets thrown out of the game in the first inning by another umpire who thinks he's bigger than the game itself. That was disgraceful officiating. Marlins then appear to be in good shape to win the game, but the Diamondbacks come back and then hit a 2-run homer in the 9th inning to win the game. I don't know how the Diamondbacks are doing it with that offense, but they are doing it right now. I think this is a pitching play. Bullpens, San Diego's bullpen got taxed pretty well yesterday. So, and actually the bullpens, the way I rate them, they're dead even anyway. So I think I'll go the full 9 here. I like the Marlins in this game.
No, I mean, Miami's kind of had a rough run in their bullpen against Arizona. Their bullpen cost them, I think, every game in that series. Is there, and oftentimes you're a first 5 guy. I'm real curious, Dave, why you would look at a first, why you look at a full game as opposed to a first 5 here, given Miami's recent bullpen struggles?
I'm doing more full games this year because this year's different. Most of the bullpens, look, there's still going to be occasional belts in the bullpens, and there are some bad pens out there. But with the lack of offense in the game, most of the bullpens have pretty decent numbers. So there's less volatility than usual. And if that's the case, I'd rather get a better price in most cases on a full game than first five. Because first fives are mostly 20-cent lines. Full games, well, you can do a lot better than that. So it's all about getting bang for the buck. And I'll take my chances full game. Now, that said, I played a couple of first fives today because situational stuff. By the way, nothing to promote in terms of daily packages. I've got 4 2% baseball plays. You just got one of them. So I've got a lot of plays. I don't like risking a lot because this is the way I bet these myself. And so I'm already risking like 8-point-something%. So I made them all small. That's why you get all access. If you get an all access package, you get all the plays. If you're waiting for a daily package, you're probably not going to get anything today. It might cost me a few dollars in sales, but I really don't give a shit about that anyway. So I just put out the 4 baseball games. Have not figured out whether I'm doing anything in the NHL because I have 2 active series plays, and those are both with teams playing tonight. So I might just sit out the NHL.
Dave Cokin, everyone. 4 games tonight, Dave, in the NHL. You're going to sit out? Not me, man.
Well, no,
I'm back. I'm ready.
But I've got
I'm
2
loud.
series. I've
Yeah,
got 2 series
I know.
plays in progress. So in effect, I've got action. I want the Avalanche to kill the Predators because I've got them minus 2.5 games for a best bet.
It's a great
I can't
bet.
see how they would. I think if it was completely available to everybody, I'd have made it a 5% play.
Right.
Some people can't get that prop, so I made it a 4%. I don't see how Nashville can beat them more than once, if they beat them even once.
Yeah. I agree, although I do not believe it'll be a blowout tonight. Dave, Tigers at Astros. I think the line is minus 150, 148. The total is 8. How should we bet this game?
I really wanted to bet Scooble here. I've talked about him ad nauseum at this point. I really like his stuff. I think he's going to be a stud. And I think he'll do okay against the Astros tonight. I mean, Houston, they've whacked the ball over the last week, 125 WRC plus. But on the season, not all that great against lefties. However, against lefties at home, that's another story. The reason I didn't bet it, because the price is attractive, and Urquidy, I don't think much of Urquidy. So I think there's a clear pitching edge for Detroit here, and I'll usually bet those. But Detroit's offense, you got to hit the ball a little bit. I mean, this is where the team stuff overrides what I think of pitching advantages. So while I think Scooble at plus 140ish is very attractive, that Detroit offense just gets me out of the game. Got a 79 WRC plus over the last week, and their last series against the Pirates, who can't pitch. That's alarming. This is where you factor in all the things and end up sitting out on a game where you might like the matchup, but the team data gets you off it. So I passed the game, but I wouldn't lean the Tigers first 5 with Scooble.
Would you look at a first 5 under in this one, given Detroit's offensive struggles of late? And it's not like Houston's tearing the cover off the ball. You talked about some of their issues versus lefties. You know, they've been held to 4 or less, 7 of their last 10, 4 of their last 5. It's not like the Astros lineup is clicking on all cylinders here either. Would you look at an under or first 5 under in this one, Dave?
No.
Or is it the Tigers' side?
No. Because if I'm going to play it, I'm going to take the best price available and back the side. I'm not going to get plus 140, 145 in the total. So I would go side only. And, I think maybe make it a 1% play. It's not an official selection, but I think Scooble's a guy I can bet on almost every game. I really like his stuff.
Dave Cokin, everyone. Guys, I got to make a quick public announcement. One of our awesome family members. Chris Allen works at the head office. He slacked me saying, Prez, if 1,000 people put up Prez is a douche in the comment section, he's going to have to be up all night deleting it. So please do not do that. Put Teddy as a douche. He's not deleting that one.
Why would you?
No, I'm
why
kidding.
would they delete something
No,
factual? That's not,
Dave, I don't know, because it's not good. YouTube doesn't want those type of comments. So
Okay, I understand.
don't put that up. Put up like Prez is a D, and we'll know what that means. We'll know. And just for the record, if I get to come back for a second go round, I'd like to come back as a douche. Teddy covers
The actual item itself.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want to clean V's all day? Rays versus Mariners. What do you like, Dave?
Oh. Jeez, am I glad I already ate breakfast. I like McClanahan over Ray. Robbie Ray's kind of gone back to his old nemesis has resurfaced. He's not commanding the ball well. His control's been kind of lousy. And that Robbie Ray can get hit. And the Rays hit lefties. 125 WRC plus against lefties overall. 141 on the road, which kind of figures because Tampa's more of a hitter's ballpark than more of a pitcher's ballpark than a hitter's ballpark. Now the alarm here, I mean, it's small sample, but Seattle versus lefties at home, weighted runs created plus is 191. So they've murdered lefties at home. But I think McClanahan owns an edge over Ray. Why am I not on the game? Because the price went up. Maybe you need to start getting some games out the night before. If it's a full game, I can't put out first fives the night before because they're not widely available. But here, Tampa's got a better bullpen anyway. I probably should have played this last night. Wouldn't have been a big play, but it would have been, minus 110, minus 115. Now it's up around minus 130. I'm not giving away 15 cents of value. So I think the Rays on the right side. McClanahan, to me, the better option here. Tampa, the better offense, despite those ridiculous Seattle numbers against lefties at home. But again, it's value, and the value is gone. I don't like land prices in baseball when I can help it. So I'll leave it alone. But the lean category would definitely favor the Rays.
And this is more of a curiosity question than anything, Dave. But so Seattle has been, in my mind, a very undervalued commodity over the last year and a half. They're just coming off a miserable road trip, where they lost, 7 of their last 8. Swept in Houston over the weekend. Couldn't do anything against the Astros.
If they're
now they're returning home. They've had is this like one of these? Is this a spot where you expect Seattle to step up, or the teams returning home off the miserable trip, that first game back, no day off, is not really a bet on spot?
I don't know. I don't know. I got no answer to that. I think that's one of those things where there's no defined. Is there any trend? I don't know. I'm not a trend guy. So unless there's some trend out there that's long term that would give an indication of whether it's a good bet or a bad bet, and then factor in the price, I don't know. I just ignore that stuff and look at the matchup. And Ray just isn't pitching very well right now. He's capable of turning it around. I mean, he's a guy you're looking for a buy sign on Robbie Ray. Kind of like Zach Wheeler was awful in his first few starts, but he had no spring training. And then he gave the buy sign in his last start. He went out and pitched great again last night. Didn't get any run support, but he pitched really well. So you got the buy sign on Wheeler. Ray has not indicated that buy sign yet. He looks like the 2020 Robbie Ray or the 2019 Robbie Ray back in the Diamondbacks days. I think he'll straighten it out because his stuff is awfully good. But until he does, I would not be betting on Robbie Ray, especially against a team that hits lefties.
Dave Cokin, nothing to promote. Great job on the show, my friend. We will have you back like always. Love seeing you. Be well. Keep winning.
I'm going to try. See you guys.
Teddy covers. Yesterday, we spoke about your old job when you were a Chippendale dancer. One of the listeners asked, was his name Teddy Uncovers. Come on. That's not bad.
It's a good line. No, but before I got into the sports betting full time, I was sports betting part time. I used to manage bars and restaurants back in Michigan. So that's what I did after graduation. I have a degree in international development that I've never used once in my life. Got a job out of school that summer, the attendant bar, and I just moved up into management ranks and did that for a while. And then I decided I liked betting on sports a whole lot better.
Yeah, it was me. It was me who was the Chippendale dancer. Teddy Covers, get ready. You got your big game breakdown. We got Marco doing the Derby, Kevin Dolan doing the fights, and the daily presidential address. We'll be right back, everyone.
How would you like to bet right alongside your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for the next 40 days for under $5 per day? Well, we have you covered. A 30-day all-access pass is priced at $2.99, but for a limited time, not only are we discounting the price by $100, but adding on 10 more days of picks for free. So outside of the $100 discount, we are tossing in a free 3-day all-access, a $39 value, and a free 7-day all-access, a $99 value for a combined savings of $238. So to recap, for the next 40 days, you will get all plays across all sports from your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper played during your access, including 5% best bets for under $5 per day. Have an existing all-access pass? No worries, as your 40 days will not begin until your current package expires.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. And let's go to Philadelphia and take a look at the Phillies and the Mets. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing Philadelphia anywhere from minus 155 to minus 160. Total is split. You can find 8 with juice to the over, 8.5 with juice to the under. And I'm going to look at the Phillies side in this ball game, even with the price we have to lay with Philadelphia. Look, they spent going into the series against Texas. They were talking about facing the Mets again after losing 2 out of 3 at Citi Field last weekend. And you know what? The focus wasn't there. They got swept. They lost both games against the Rangers. I think you see a very focused effort from Philadelphia tonight. Joe Girardi, after yesterday's loss, we're all upset about this. Scoreless into the 10th in that ball game. We have the ability to do it, and I believe we're going to do it. And of course, Philly didn't get anything from their hitters. Hoskins, Harper, Realmuto, Baum all combined to go 0-15 yesterday, and the Phillies went 0-7 with runners in scoring position. Nola's a streak stopper for Philadelphia. He's their winner. He's obviously got a good track record against the Mets. His last start against the Mets, 6 innings, 9 strikeouts, no walks. Of course, the Mets threw a no-hitter in that game, so it didn't matter how well Nola pitched. But Nola's track record against New York, pretty good. He's a pitcher in good current form. I'm expecting focus from Philadelphia here. And we got a Mets team that really isn't hitting right now. 3 runs or less 4 times or last the 6 ball games. Got bombed yesterday in Atlanta. Walker, not a hurler that I trust. He's already thrown 7 shutout innings in 2 starts this season, both against the Phillies. We'll see the Phillies for the 3rd time here. I think Philadelphia will have the edge against him. I think the Phillies bullpen is the better of the 2, and I look for the Phillies lineup to take care of business here. Chalk worth laying. Philadelphia minus the price against the New York Mets. There's your big game breakdown. Prez, back to you, my friend.
Teddy Covers, Kentucky Derby is on Saturday. I know nothing about horse racing, nor hats. Marco D'Angelo, it seems that you know something about one of those two, and hats is not it. How are you, my friend?
Hey, it's Kentucky Derby week, and I know you get Dave Sherapan on all the time, and he's always sporting a fancy lid. So, hey, I'm ready for the Derby. Let's go.
So, Marco, I got to tell you a quick thing that happened on Monday. We have a new show look, and for some reason, the mics were on before the show. And I turned to Teddy and I said, thank God Marco is not on the show today. We need professionals.
Oh.
So a lot of people commented in the section saying, you don't think Marco's professional. So I just want to say now that you're on, I stick firmly to my statement.
I wondered, I got a couple tweet messages on Monday, and I didn't have any idea what it was about. And now I know. Way to go, Prez. Thank God you didn't say anything worse, pregame, because a lot of times when we're in the breaks, I just cringe the things that come out of your mouth, as Teddy can attest to.
Yeah, it's funny, Marco. Listen, guys, obviously, I do not believe that Marco is as professional as they can come. I just like to make fun of the guy. He's my business partner. Marco, you did not send any notes in. Teddy and I have no idea what you want to talk about, but it is Derby related. So show us your professionalism and just take over.
Well, there was no reason to send anything to you that you wouldn't understand, Prez. So, as you said, you know nothing about horse racing. First thing that I want to say about the Kentucky Derby and why I get so excited every year for this particular race. You guys know that I am in the horse industry. I do own horses, so it is a passion of mine. But as a professional sports bettor, this is one of the best opportunities of the entire season to wager. And why that is because it is a national event. It is a party. People are going to bet the Derby that never bet the Derby before. So you might be wondering, say, well, what does that have to do with anything? Horse racing is different than sports betting. When you bet sports, it's you against the sports book. They post a number, you take the favorite or you take the dog, and they get 10% for holding the wager. In horse racing, the house holds a bigger percentage, that's true, but the winnings are determined from the betting pool. So all of these novice people that are betting the Kentucky Derby because they're going to a party, they're going to have mint juleps, they want to be part of the biggest event, the greatest 2 minutes in sports as it's advertised, they're going to be betting and they have no clue what they're betting on. So picture something you can understand, Prez. If you have everybody contributing to the biggest, yummiest pie that you possibly can have, and then you have a professional eater like me that's going to get to that pie and take my slice, that's what I'm looking for in the Kentucky Derby. You'll get inflated wagers. There's dead money in there, and we can profit. And a few years ago, in my Kentucky Derby package, we invested $390 in the Kentucky Derby. In that one race, we brought back over $9,000 for our clients because of the payday and the inflated number in the wagering pool. So that's what we're looking for. That sets the stage for the Derby. Now all we got to do is give you some winners, and that's what I'm here to do today.
Well, Marco, let me ask you one question right off the top, because you talked about the advantages of betting the Derby. There's much more square money in this pool than there is in basically any other race you're going to find. But the downside is that the Kentucky Derby is always a 20-horse field. It's always full. And there's 20 horses, and what position your horse gets is a huge factor in the race. The getting stuck in traffic is a huge factor in the race. The fact that there are so many more horses in this race than your average race does not negate some of the edge that you might have with the bigger pools and more recreational money in the pools.
Well, it comes into play, Teddy, if you like a horse that is a closer. That is a definite concern because none of these horses have raced in a 20-horse field. And if you're a horse that comes from behind, you're subject to two things. You're subject to the pace of the race. If the race goes slow in the first half, it makes it much tougher for a closer to get there. Now, if they go an honest pace or fast fractions in the first half, that helps a closer. But picture yourself on a freeway, Teddy. You're in the passing lane. You're flying. You're going 75 in the passing lane. All of a sudden, there's a guy in that passing lane that shouldn't be there, and he's only going 55. What happens? You got to tap the brakes or go around him. Well, if you're in the outside trying to go around or stuck inside, there's a horse outside of you, you can't do that, and you lose momentum. It's called checking your horse in the race. So yes, when you're picking a closer, you've got to be careful. And a lot of that goes in looking at the jockey you have, the better jockeys. There's 20 horses in this field, but I could tell you there's probably about 10 of them that don't have a chance of winning this race. That's where your knowledge comes in understanding how the race is going to develop. Generally speaking, the Kentucky Derby is won by a horse on the front end or in what we call the stalking position. And that is the first set of horses behind the leaders. You're not a closer, but you're not on the front end. You're running fourth, fifth, sixth at the half. You're in good position. And that, again, goes to understanding the race, understanding the form, and understanding what's going to happen by what post position you have. Some horses, their hands are, tied with the post position they have. They have no choice. They either got to go back or go forward because they don't want to get caught wide in that first turn. And that, again, goes, I have the knowledge to try to dissect that and understand it where the novice doesn't, Teddy. But that is an excellent question.
Sure. You're mixing your metaphors, man. If a horse's hands can't be tied, their hooves have got to be tied.
Well, the jockey holds the reins. The jockeys hold the reins. So he's the guy driving the ship.
Speaking of driving the ship, Marco, I know you have obviously a Kentucky Derby package, so we can't ask you to give out everything here on the show. Nonetheless, throw us a bone here. What we can do? Give us a wager we can look at for the Kentucky Derby on Saturday.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my top 4 selections. But then if you say, Marco, what am I going to do? Why would I buy your package? Well, it's all about the betting strategies that I'm going to give, because when you buy my package on Saturday, I lay it out for you exactly what to do. Walk up to the window and call out all of your bets. We're talking about win, place, and show. We're talking about exactas, trifectas, and superfectas. So there's still a lot of information to be had. But my top 4 horses in the Kentucky Derby are the 3-horse Epicenter, the 10-horse Zandon, the 12-horse Taiba, and the 6-horse Messier. Those are my top 4 horses. Now, full disclosure, you guys know that I do a show with Sig Las Vegas here on the WagerTalk channels. We do a weekly show called Pony Pundits. Back in January, I gave out on that show a future bet. And a future bet for the Kentucky Derby is exactly like betting a team to win the Super Bowl or betting a team to win the NBA championship before the season begins. I gave out Epicenter at 33-1 on that show. So I am holding a ticket for Epicenter for the Kentucky Derby. If he wins, I get a nice score with Epicenter. He is still my top choice, but there is a horse that I really am concerned with that can beat him, and that is the 10 Zandon. That is the horse that's the now horse, Teddy. The horse is developing at the right time. He's only had 4 career starts, which is perfect heading into the Derby, and he is in the 3rd start of the form cycle. When you give a horse a break and you bring him back, he's generally not good the first start. Second start, he's going to be better, but his 3rd start off a layoff is the best in a horse's form cycle, and that's what Zandon is. Zandon, in his last race, won the Bluegrass Stakes. He was sitting dead last, 11th in that race, and swooped the field to win it. Now, the problem is that was 11-horse field, and he dominated that field. Here, there's better horses, and there's more of them. He could run into some road trouble, but he has one of the best jockeys in the country, Flavian Pratt, rode him for the first time in the Bluegrass Stakes and is on him again today. I am confident that he will be able to navigate a good trip for this horse. And if they get stupid on the front end, which there is a lot of speed in this race, and by that I mean is if horses battle each other too fast early, it is going to set up for this horse. So that is a horse that I am concerned with, and I will have a lot of bets with Zandon, protecting my future bet on Epicenter. But I like those 4 horses. And then, of course, I got some long shots to run underneath in the exactas, tries, and supers, and you can get that in my package on Saturday. And we are offering a special if you want to pick up my plays for 7 days. Normally that's $99. Well, it's really normally $119, but we're running a special $99. I'm giving you $30 more off if you use coupon code Marco, $69. You'll get 7 days for $69, which would include Saturday's Kentucky Derby plays. It's less than $10 a day. And guys, right now I've got winning streaks going in all three of the major sports, baseball, basketball, and hockey. So great time to jump on board.
Marco D'Angelo, everyone. Marco Revenant sent a $10 tip in with a comment. Will he stop now? Yes, Revenant. He stopped. Oh, my God. Marco, man, that was good. Anyway, brother, we love having you. You gave out the promo, Marco 69, 7-day all access. Now get the hell out of here and take that hat off.
See you guys later.
Teddy covers. My God, dude, we got to come up with a way to jump in.
Okay.
Nothing? Okay.
You're the host. What you do is you say, Marco.
Marco, and then he'll just call back Polo and continue talking. Kevin Dolan, everyone, get the subtitles ready. The Irishman is on the show with us. How are you, Kev?
Yeah, all good, Prez. Good to be back on the show and, ready to talk some boxing.
Well, I mean, nothing gives me greater pleasure than talking boxing, specifically right after we talk horses. Canelo versus Bivol. I think I said that wrong. It's the main event. Obviously, Canelo is the sexy name. Everybody, including me, who's not a boxing fan, has heard of him. How do we attack this main event feature matchup?
Well, what you said there was very interesting because, before I do the breakdown, I just want to say I think Canelo deserves a ton of respect for what he's trying to do here. He's trying to become undisputed at 2 different weight classes. That's no joke. It's coming against some really tough opposition as well. Obviously, these 175-pounders don't mess around. And, it would have been so easy for him, obviously, to pull a Tyson Fury, because Canelo's the cash cow. Half of the UFC calling him out. He could have had a far easier night's work for double the money and half the risk. But here he is, trying to cement his legacy as an all-time great, no question about that, against a guy in Bivol that most people haven't even heard of. I've got casual friends in the boxing, they know Mayweather's, Wilders, Furies, Joshua's, and so on, but they're like, who's this Bivol guy that Canelo's fighting on Saturday night? So, massive respect to Canelo from me in terms of what he's trying to accomplish here, and especially with no catch weight. There's no catch weights here. There's no rehydration clause. None of that nonsense. It's just straight business, champion against champion. But with trying to be great, obviously comes with great risk, and Canelo's certainly going to face one this Saturday night in Dmitry Bivol. Bivol is the real deal, no question about that. Multiple-time gold medal winner in the amateurs. He's carried that success over to the professional ranks as well. Undefeated. He's barely needed to get out of second gear in most of his fights as well. Wobbled just the once against one of the other champions in this division, Joe Smith Jr. But, Smith hits like a Mack truck, in fairness, and Bivol still went on to win that fight fairly convincingly. So, as I said, these 175, Canelo's moved to a new weight class, even though he technically fought here before against Sergey Kovalev. He's stepping up, for the first time effectively. And these 175 boys don't mess around. So don't confuse this with what Canelo done before with the 168 weight class. Those guys are trying to break 100-meter dash records around the outside of the ring, trying to get away from Canelo's power. This won't be these guys. Artur Beterbiev, Joe Smith Jr. and so on, and this, champions in this weight class. They would love to have a firefight with Canelo in there. But what he's going to face this Saturday night against Bivol is slightly different. Bivol can bang, there's no doubt about that. But his game is centered around more foot speed and range. Bivol moves in and out of range tremendously well, uses that space then to fire off his own shots. He's not one-dimensional with his punch selection either. Andre Ward did a fantastic breakdown of his fight style in the lead up to the Sullivan-Barrera fight. And, Ward was extremely impressed with how Bivol, breaks down his opponents from the outside, picks his shots incredibly well when he's got them lined up. And, he's just so fluid in there, the way he can move in and out. And, what Bivol brings into play along with that movement, is his punch selection, as you said. This won't be Callum Smith or Caleb Plant using movement just to try and survive. This is movement based on the goal of getting himself into a good enough position to fire off his own power shots. So, Canelo's brought in former 175-pound champ Alexander Gvozdyk in the camp to try and offset that dynamic. Gvozdyk was a very high-level technical champion himself at this weight, used like a lot of the same movement that Bivol does. Gvozdyk arguably a much better lateral mover than Bivol as well. So some videos have emerged over the last couple of weeks. Gvozdyk is jumping in and out of range, very similar how Bivol would do, and Canelo's trying to time him with a right hook to the body, which is interesting, seeing as the left is the dominant punch of Canelo. So that move alone could be key here. Might catch Bivol off guard at a certain point. And if Bivol does have one kind of glaring weakness in there, he can sometimes be a little bit guilty of getting predictable. But, with that said, this is the biggest fight of Bivol's career. He's not going to switch off in there. He's been sparring the likes of Israel Madrimov in camp, a name, you need to be aware of. This guy's going to be a champ within the next 18 months. So I'm going to take a piece of the plus 700. Big price there on offer for Bivol to win this fight on points. I think those odds are just far too wide. This will be a competitive fight, and we're getting the much better mover on Saturday. We're getting the busier fighter. Bivol throws a ton of shots in there. So any slow rounds on Saturday, he'll pick them up. And, I know people are going to say quickly, you'll never get a decision go your way against the likes of Canelo. But this is a completely different visual dynamic. What we saw against Triple G. Triple G was the big favourite going into that fight against Canelo. He was the guy meant to put a hurting on Canelo. That's not the case this weekend. Most people, like yourself, Prez, don't even know who Bivol is. So when he shows up here and gives Canelo a hard time, that visual dynamic of seeing Canelo finally get tested, that might influence the decision here. So I'm going to take Dmitry Bivol to win on points this weekend, plus 700. I think that's an absolutely massive price, and something I'll personally be on for Saturday.
Kevin Dolan saying Bivol a live dog against Canelo on Saturday night. Let's take a look at an undercard fight. Scott Alexander versus, watch me butcher the name, Zhilei Zhang? Close, maybe?
Yeah. Close enough, yeah.
Zhilei Zhang, okay.
Yeah.
I've done worse with the pronunciations. Nonetheless, Zhang against Alexander on the undercard. What do you want to do with that fight, Kevin?
Well, this should be a fun one, Teddy, because just to give a quick background to this fight, it was initially meant to be a guy called Filip Hrgovic fighting this weekend in a final eliminator on the undercard. Hrgovic, a guy who many consider to be the heir apparent of the heavyweight division, once kind of Usyk and Fury eventually shuffle off, and he's been struggling to find opponents. No one wanted to fight him. But that's what you got to love about Zhilei Zhang. He's 6'6", Chinese heavyweight. They call him Big Bang. He was ready to step in against Hrgovic. And he hits like an absolute, freight train in there. Absolutely ferocious power. And that would have been a terrific fight had it happened. Unfortunately, Hrgovic's father died last week, so he was forced to pull out of the fight. So in comes Scott Alexander at short notice to replace Hrgovic. And I like the under in this one as low as it is. Zhang, as we said, is ferocious in there with his power. But what makes him so entertaining to watch him fights is he's like putting $10 of petrol into an earth mover. He's got a ton of power for about 9 minutes. But once those 9 minutes are up, he's out of juice completely. I backed against him in his fight before last against Jerry Forrest. Forrest, extremely savvy older vet, knows all the tricks in the book. And, Zhang ran him over at the start of that fight, put him down 3 times in the opening 3 rounds. Forrest managed to survive. Should have won the fight, in my opinion. So that's Zhang all over. Zhang knows, just like his last fight against Craig Lewis, where he got the second round stoppage, that, he's always on borrowed time in the ring. He needs to get the stoppage before fatigue takes him out. Literally, this guy's like 3 or 4 rounds away from gassing out. So I like the under 4.5 rounds in this undercard fight. Takes us to the midpoint of the 5th round, and I'd be very surprised if we see this one go into round 6 on Saturday.
Kev, amazing, man. Great stuff. We'll have you on for all the big fights. Anything to promote for the clients?
Yeah, a ton of stuff going on right now over at WagerTalk, Prez. We nailed a huge 5% winner on Tuesday with the Celtics. We got an MLB quad pack up for today, 2011 running MLB. We got 14 soccer plays loaded between now and over the weekend. 22-9 soccer run over the last week, including 8-0 last Sunday. So we're crushing it right now in soccer. And, now's a great time to pick up a 3 or 7 day all-access pass and take advantage of everything we got coming up this weekend.
Awesome stuff. Kevin Dolan, everyone. Outstanding. Teddy, it's time, baby. Let's go. Cue up the Daily Presidential Address. Thank you guys for watching Wager Talk today. If you're watching this section of the show on Twitter, check out Wager Talk today on our YouTube channel, Wager Talk TV. We had Dave Cokin look at 3 baseball games. Marco D'Angelo talked for an hour on the Kentucky Derby, and Kevin Dolan, the Irishman, he took apart the Canelo fight. It was a really good show. Teddy's big game breakdown as well. And of course, I got 3 bets for you guys in this video. Firstly, a massive thank you to every single person who purchased my 5% play yesterday. It won, and it won easy. And geez, the 5% lucky pants, they did it again. On just such a great run right now. 7-3 baseball run, 40-17 hockey run. I got 2 hockey plays and a baseball play up for my clients tonight. As for your 3 free plays tonight, we're going to totals. Rangers and Pittsburgh over the total of 5.5. Florida and Washington over the total of 6.5. And Nashville and Colorado over the total of 6.5. I'm personally putting a little bit of money on all 3 of those. So go ahead. I like them a lot. That's the Rangers over, Florida over, and the Colorado Avalanche over. Teddy, I'm having a Reuben with coleslaw instead of sauerkraut, and I'm doing it in about 3 minutes. Take us home, baby.
Sure, that's going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of Wager Talk today. I want to thank Kevin Dolan, Marco D'Angelo, and Dave Cokin for joining us. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day. Appreciate all the comments, appreciate all the likes, appreciate all the follows. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, you know what to do. Enjoy the games, and good luck.
How would you like to bet right alongside your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo handicapper for the next 40 days for under $5 per day? Well, we have you covered. A 30-day all-access pass is priced at $2.99, but for a limited time, not only are we discounting the price by $100, but adding on 10 more days of picks for free. So outside of the $100 discount, we are tossing in a free 3-day all-access, a $39 value, and a free 7-day all-access, a $99 value for a combined savings of $238. So to recap, for the next 40 days, you will get all plays across all sports from your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo handicapper played during your access, including 5% best bets for under $5 per day. Have an existing all-access pass? No worries, as your 40 days will not begin until your current package expires.